hockey fans, and welcome to the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel for Game 2 of our doubleheader this evening. For this one, we're in St. Paul, Minnesota, where the Wild host the Vancouver Canucks. Hello, one and all, and welcome into the broadcast. My name is Jaric Rubel. So delighted to have you with me for tonight's game, which has two teams that are carrying different meanings into this point of the season, but there is plenty of intrigue on both sides. For the Minnesota Wild, the mission is simple. If you win, you are in, as the Wild enter play sitting on the doorstep of a playoff berth with a chance to officially lock it down tonight on home ice. It's a spot this team has grown accustomed to in recent seasons, looking to return to the postseason once again and continue a run of consistent success. And now the Wild have a chance to clinch without even stepping onto the ice, but results elsewhere around the league didn't go their way yesterday, as their result should have said that last night they had a chance to clinch without stepping onto the ice, but the results didn't go their way as the Blues did not get 2 points against the Los Angeles Kings. So instead, the opportunity is here tonight, right now, in front of their home crowd at Grand Casino Arena. And truth be told, they probably do prefer it that way, as their head coach John Hynes has made it clear this team isn't focused on outside help. It's about their own game. It's their own execution and getting back to the level they know that they could reach. Because while they're close to clinching, the Wild also know that they have not exactly been firing on all cylinders as of late. They come into this game having dropped ground over the last couple of weeks, searching for consistency as the playoffs approach, but a few days off between games may have come at the perfect time. A chance to reset, clean up details, and sharpen their pace for this critical stretch run before the dance starts in 2 weeks. And between the pipes tonight, they're likely going to go with Filip Gustavsson, who has been reliable presence all season long. He'll be leaned on heavily as the stakes continue to rise, and there's an added layer of intrigue as well into this matchup tonight. This is the first meeting between these two teams since the blockbuster trade involving Quinn Hughes, a move that sent shockwaves through both organizations and across the league, reshaping the identity of each of these franchises along the way. And for Vancouver, moving on from their star defenseman marked a clear shift toward the future, signaling that new direction and a focus on building around a younger core. And in return, they acquired Zeev Buium, Liam Ohgren, and Marco Rossi from the Wild, all who will be in the lineup tonight for the Canucks. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, they brought in a player of Hughes' caliber that adds a dynamic element to their blue line. He's a difference maker who could control the pace of a game and impact it at both ends of the ice, as you might have seen in the Olympic tournament this February out in Italy. And even if emotions aren't front and center publicly, there's no question this game carries a little bit of extra juice. It's familiar faces with new colors, and the first chance here for both sides to see how the major deal looks on the ice, all unfolding tonight against each other in St. Paul. Meanwhile, the Canucks arrive in this game on the second half of a back-to-back. They played a wild one last night in Colorado. It snapped a lengthy losing skid in dramatic fashion. They beat the Avs 8-6 in an offensive thriller, and it was offense on full display leading that charge, led by Minnesota native Brock Besser. He put on a show for the Canucks. He had a hat trick in that game. And while the Canucks are no longer in the playoff picture, they're playing with pride and perhaps more importantly, with an eye toward the future. So young players continue to get these opportunities, and the effort level has picked up as they're looking to finish this season strong. So tonight, it's a contrast in motivations. Minnesota looking to punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and Vancouver looking to build momentum and play the spoiler. It's the Canucks and the Wild coming up next. Puck drop moments away. You're listening to the NHL with Jaric Rubel on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Jaric Rubel back with you here in Minnesota where the Wild and Canucks go head-to-head. But before we drop the puck, let's take a look at tonight's starting goalies. In goal for the Wild, it's Filip Gustavsson. He's 26, 13, and 6 on the year, 2.57 goals against average at a .909. Save percentage, his last 18 starts, he's 12, 4, and 2. And he'll be opposed by Nikita Tolopilo for the Canucks. 5, 7, and 2 record for him, a 3.53 goals against average, an .886 save percentage. And he did beat these Minnesota Wild back on December the 6th out in Vancouver. Off the opening faceoff, the Canucks control, attacking left to right. It's Hronek snapping it in. We're underway from Grand Casino Arena in St. Paul. Again, my name is Jaric Rubel. Glad you joined me for the second of 2 games on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. The Canucks up at the far point, controlling on the far wall. It's Blueger, up high Hronek. Long shot kicked away by Gustafsson. Rebound given to Linus Karlsson, but it's taken away nicely by Faber as he gallops up the far wing, trying to feed Matthew Boldy. Couldn't connect. And now the Canucks take back over in their own zone, wearing their white road jerseys with the Canuck logo on the front and their navy or their regular blue pants with blue gloves and white helmets, and then they got blue lettering and numbers as well on the back and arms of their jerseys. Down to our left, here come the Wild attacking right to left. Marcus Johansson pinned up on the near side glass. He's 1 goal away from 200 in his NHL career. Puck squirted free through the slot, rode to the far corner. Hartman will track it down for the Wild. He's trying to shake off a check from Hronek, got knocked out of the play, and now taking it is Blueger for the Canucks, leaving it behind his own net for Hronek, as they'll get their first change off of the night, a minute 10 in to the opening period. Minnesota wearing their Subway green and yellow jerseys, as they got the green helmets and overall green jerseys with green pants, but on the arms and the lower parts of them, they are golden or yellow, depending on how you want to view it. I say it's golden, but it does look like the Subway colors. And then their numbers and their lettering on their jerseys are white with the gold or yellow trim around them. So they're wearing the North Star Nod jerseys. I call them the Subway jerseys, though, as that's exactly what they look like here. I'm sure most of you could agree looking at the logo right above my head on your screen, as that's the colors it looks like. As now back to the play on the ice. The Canucks are trying to get to work. Rossi, the former Minnesota Wild, involved in that Hughes trade, couldn't get a pass down low, and now Zuccarello's out on the left wing. Chipped it over the Canuck blue line. To the goal it goes. Tolopilo will stick it to the far wall, but grabbing it will be Daniel Yurov. Playing it behind the goal once more for Tarasenko. Tarasenko trying to move it along. Got rubbed out of there by P.O. Joseph. And now the Wild forced to reset here at center. Zach Bogosian in his own zone. Played it right on the stick of a Canuck player, but it's right back on his blade now, as they did the same. And now on the near wing, out the center comes Jake Middleton for Minnesota. Into the near corner in the left wing side, Bobby Brink overskated a puck and got taken into the boards. Meanwhile, on the left wing side, here is Vancouver taking a look. And Curtis Douglas will go across, and they'll wait for a change. As now starting to break out for Vancouver will be Zeev Buium. Former Minnesota Wild defenseman, drafted a couple of seasons ago, put it into Minnesota territory where Quinn Hughes now is on the ice, played it across, and now a pass up on the far wings intercepted, and in come the Canucks again. Shot from the far wing off the stick of Blueger, gobbled up by Gustafsson, and he'll take that for a whistle with 17:07 gone by here in the opening 20 minutes. Let's take a look here at these Vancouver Canucks starting lines before their ozone draw. Top line of Elias Pettersson with Jake DeBrusk and Liam Ohgren. Marco Rossi centering Drew O'Connor and Brock Besser. Teddy Blueger between Max Sassone and Linus Karlsson. Then Atu Ratu between Curtis Douglas and Ty Muller. Defense pairings are Elias Niels Pettersson with Hronek, Marcus Pettersson. Yes, there's 3 Petterssons. He's with Wallander. And then Zeev Buium with P.O. Joseph. That's how the Canucks here align tonight. The line of Blueger, Sassone, and Karlsson are on the ice. They're up against the line of McCarron, Trennan, and Foligno. A heavy-hitting one for Minnesota, as Minnesota's McCarron wins the draw, and it gets snapped up the near left wing boards all the way into Vancouver ice. And now the race is on, and the Canucks throw it back up to center. Right past the penalty box as the puck will roll for Quinn Hughes, who resets in his own zone. Going D-to-D here with Brock Faber. Gave Quinn the return pass. Up straight away he goes at the red line. To the far wing, the pass is tipped in by McCarron to behind the Vancouver goal line. Now trying to move it up is P.O. Joseph. Got knocked off his blade. It'll be moved along now by Buium. And on the backhand, it might roll far enough for icing into the Wild zone. I think it will. And in fact, the whistle will go. And with 16:33 to go here, the Canucks have iced the puck. So with that, let's look at the Wild starting lines here in this game, as it's Hartman with Kaprizov and Zuccarello on line 1, Eriksson Ek between Johansson and Boldy, Yurov between Tarasenko and Bobby Brink, and McCarron between Trennan and Marcus Foligno. D pairings are Quinn Hughes with Brock Faber, Jonas Brodin with Jared Spurgeon, and Jake Middleton with Zach Bogosian. Face off here to Tolapilo's left, down to our left, or I should say Tolapilo's right, down to our left, as it'll be Eriksson Ek here against Bluger for the draw. And we're going to have a do-over here as the linesman wasn't happy. And now he drops the puck off the tie-up. It sits at the near dot and picked up now by Vancouver. And it's carried out on the near side, tipped in by Carlson. Taken back by Brodin. On the stick of Eriksson Ek it goes. Far wing Spurgeon up ahead for Johansson. Right wing over the Canuck line. Dropped it in the slot. Boldy fanned on a shot. Now on the near wing, the Canucks will take it. Here's Elias Pettersson. That is the top line center, Elias Pettersson. I'll differentiate the guys now. I'm going to say Elias Pettersson for the top center, and I'm going to say Elias Pettersson for the defenseman. Hopefully you guys could figure out the difference between the two throughout the broadcast. But Elias Pettersson had nothing doing in the offensive zone. We'll see what Matt Boldy does on the counterattack as he heads over the Wild logo at center. Now left wing Canuck blue line spinning around at the left wing dot. Tried to go upstairs short side, put it off the side of the net as there was room. Now Kaprizov got that loose puck working it low to high on the left side. Put it around the Canuck goal to the far corner. Bogosian pinching. Put it down low for Ek. He got upended. Lost possession. Now it came up for the Canucks. A pass ahead for Drew O'Connor's out of his reach. And now the Wild will reset Bogosian again. On the far wing, put it in front of the Wild bench. Ek spun it this way for Zuccarello onside. Looking for a passing lane from the left wing circle. Fed it across. Off the stick of Besser it goes. And now on the far wing, it'll be taken back out by Vancouver. Turning back is Drew O'Connor as his teammates are changing. Now played it ahead. Besser catches the Wild in a change. Right wing circle. A shot at a left pad save and a beauty by Philip Gustafson as Brock Besser was just lurking, cherry picking on the right wing, and he was on his way in. Now Kaprizov the other way. Left wing side over the line. A shot fought off there by Tolopilo. Rebound to the far wall. A battle for it now ensues between Faber and Curtis Douglas, as Curtis Douglas is a big man. I have not seen this guy play hockey. I have not watched too much of Vancouver this year, but holy crap. Curtis Douglas stands in at 6'9", 242. As I promised, that's the first time I've ever seen him on skates, and he looks a lot bigger than Matt Rempe out there, who I'd say is probably the biggest player I know, or Logan Stanley. But the Canucks here in the offensive zone, down to our right, top line on the ice. Here is Ohgren, or I should say Sassone, playing it down low. Taken away, though, by Hartman as the Canucks end up wanting the change. So now the Wild will circle back in their own zone with 14:18 to go in the first period. Not a lot of whistles in this game, only a couple, as we're through about 6 minutes here with some good pace. 5 shots for the Canucks, 4 for the Wild. A lot better than the game you heard between the Blues and Kings just 24 hours ago. That was very low octane. Wild back into the Canuck zone on the near wing. Here's Tarasenko feeding it across to the far point. Spurgeon, long flip shot into the glove of Tolopilo, and he'll hold it for a whistle here with 13:54 to go in the opening period. We'll head to our first timeout. Still scoreless here in St. Paul. Wild and Canucks on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Jaric Rubel back with you here in Minnesota. Still scoreless through the first 7 minutes of this game between the Wild and the Canucks, as it's the third and final meeting between these two clubs this season. The last 2 times they met came back on November the 1st of this season when Minnesota won 5-2 here on home ice. Then they went up to Vancouver a month later on the 6th of December. They lost 4-2 in that game, so each team sharing a win. Trying to steal the season series are the Canucks. The Wild here trying to continue on and clinch their spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They just need a point to do that tonight. They don't exactly need to win, but if they get at least 1 point, they're in. And then if the Blackhawks end up defeating the Oilers in regulation and the Leafs defeat the Sharks, if the Wild end up losing this game, then that would also get them into the playoffs. They're going to get in no matter what, but the clinching scenario does come in effect tonight. So back underway with 13:40 to go in the first period. The Canucks turned it over at the Wild blue line. So here comes Quinn Hughes up with some speed on the left wing over the line. Dropped it for Urov. Urov played it through the paint. Came to the far wall. Tarasenko tried to nudge it for Quinn Hughes, who was coming from behind the goal, but it didn't make it to him. And now the puck lofted back out the center by Vancouver and taken back by Brock Faber down to our right in the Wild D zone. He'll leave it for Quinn Hughes. Far circle. Played it up to the logo. Here's Brock Faber carrying it in. Onside, says the linesman. Played it now to the net. Past the glove side of Tolopilo. It ricocheted off the boards to the far point. McCarron covering there. Played it along the boards for Marcus Foligno. It came back up to him. It's at his skates. DeBrusk trying to get it out now for Vancouver. Puck at their skates. And now squirts free to the far circle where it'll be grabbed by Marcus Foligno. His brother Nick on the team. A healthy scratch tonight as he was brought over from Chicago for future considerations. A nice nod from general manager Kyle Davidson of Chicago to allow Nick to chase his first career Stanley Cup with his brother. As now the Wild dig it out from the far wing. Spurgeon this way for Brodin. His shot got blocked in front by Foligno himself on the near side as it didn't make it to Tolopilo. Now behind the Vancouver goal, Marcus Foligno to the far wall. Got it back from Spurgeon. Let it ride behind for McCarron. Acquired from Nashville at the deadline. Trennan as well, an ex-Predator, battling for that puck with McCarron. Both couldn't grab it. DeBrusk does get it out. And out the center it'll go. The Canucks will get a change. Wild trying to quickly wrist it back in. Brodin will do that. It'll go around the Canuck goal again to the far corner. Bounced off a stick to P.O. Joseph, who quickly played it on the near side for Marcus Pettersson. Turned it over at the blue line, far wall. Tried in a shot there and a pad save by Tolopilo, as that was just a good old-fashioned slap shot from the far circle by Yakov Trenin. Now back in neutral ice are the Wild. Under 12 minutes now to go in this first period. They play it back in their own zone now after some bad passing. And up on the far boards, a pass connects now with Marcus Johansson. Pool cued it down low for Boldy. Boldy in the trapezoid to our left behind the Vancouver goal. Banked it up to the far point. A shot there. Didn't make it to the net from the far point. That came off the stick of Bogosian. And now at the near circle on the left wing, it's played up and not out by the Canucks. Here's Boldy on the takeaway. And shot. Score! Matthew Boldy opens the scoring for the Wild. And they lead it 1-0. So number 39 for Matthew Boldy. He's now one shy of 40. Tied with Kirill Kaprizov for the team lead with 39 lamp-lighters. And he, off a takeaway, was able to get in all alone on the far left wing side as P.O. Joseph couldn't clear the zone. And he went 5-hole on Nikita Tolopilo. And the Minnesota Wild get the all-important first goal, especially in their franchise's history, as this season when scoring first the Wild, they're 31-6-6, and overall in the history of the National Hockey League, they're 687, 182, and 112 when scoring first. That's a 757 win percentage in their existence as a franchise when scoring the game's first goal. And they're re-entering again on the left wing side. Kaprizov for Hartman with a shot that goes off of Tolopilo's pads. The Canucks will play it out the center on the far wing into the zone. Now comes Mueller. Mueller will play it around the goal on the near side. It bounces back to the trapezoid. Quinn Hughes will bank it out. It came to Hartman, who bounced off his chest as it didn't look like he was ready for it. And now a stoppage in play here, and it looks like the puck was played with a high stick. So the faceoff will stay inside here of the Wild zone to the left of the goaltender Philip Gustafsson. So 1-0 Minnesota here on that goal by Matthew Boldy. As overall this season, he has 2 goals. I'm reading this completely wrong. I have no idea what they're trying to tell me about Kaprizov and Boldy, so completely disregard. There's too much analytical decimals in there. I thought it was a fun stat. It's not. And also, On the screen, I put the Minnesota Wild scored, and it's not popping up on the score bug. It still says 0-0, so I don't know why that's happening. I'm going to have to try and fix that, I guess. But 1-0 Minnesota here as it stands at the moment, as now an offsides whistle is going to be called as the Wild tried to enter the Vancouver zone. As now I'm very curious as to why the score bug here is not working. Let's see if we hit refresh here, what happens. Doesn't look like anything happened, so I don't know what's going on. Now it's completely gone. Now it's back. There we go. 1-0 Minnesota. So it's all correct. I did that all within an offsides whistle. Look how quick I am. And now off that draw in front of the Vancouver bench, it's going to be won by the Wild. And now Faber got Quinn Hughes turned around, but it ends up back in Zuccarello's possession nonetheless. And he'll play it up ahead for Kaprizov in front of the Canuck bench. Tried to feed it to Faber. He got turned around. Now back at center ice are the Wild, as Quinn Hughes will back skate into his own zone, being watched by Linus Karlsson. Played it left wing for Kaprizov. He's in over the Canuck line. Left wing circle. Tried to play it in the middle. Got off a skate. Now played out to center by Vancouver once more. And Faber will have to turn back with 10:10 to go in this first period. Shots are 8-5 Minnesota. They lead it 1-0 on the goal by Matthew Boldy. Played now into the Canuck zone. Quinn Hughes got it on a bank pass in front. It was a touch there by Urhoff as Quinn Hughes played it off the far corner boards, and it bounced right to Urhoff, but he couldn't get it on net. Now back straight away over the logo comes DeBruskin with a shot and a save made by Gustafsson, who will swallow that up and send us to break with under 10 minutes remaining now in this opening period. 1-0 Minnesota on the goal by Matthew Boldy. You're listening to an NHL Watchalong on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. Jaric Rubel back with you here in St. Paul, where the Wild lead it by a score of 1-0 and a goal scored by Matthew Boldy, assisted by Marcus Johansson as well as Joel Eriksson-Ek, and they lead it 1-0 here past the halfway point of the opening frame. Again, with just a point here in the standings tonight, the Wild clinch a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Is now off a face-off to Gustafsson's right. A one-timer's thrown his way by Buium, and it's in and out of the glove of Gustafsson. Rebound to the left wing circle near him. Now it's taken up by McCarron, and he'll put it out to center off the far wing. This didn't connect with Trennan. It might go for an icing. It, in fact, will. So a stoppage here with 9:38 to go after that icing on Minnesota. And an ozone draw coming up here for the Vancouver Canucks. And I mentioned the Canucks in the open. They played an 8-6 barn burner against the Colorado Avalanche last night. Max Sassone opened the scoring 29 seconds in. Brock Besser recorded a hat trick in that game. And the Canucks once led 6-2. The Avs made it 6-5. But they did end up putting it away and winning 8-6. A close call, but probably the funnest game of the year for the Canucks and their fans. They control here in their own zone after resetting in neutral. It'll be played up by Elias Pettersson on the far wing. It'll get tipped into the Minnesota zone now. And on the far corner, playing it as Spurgeon for Minnesota. Up for McCarron. He got it out now back over the Canuck blue line. It'll be turned and taken back by Buium. Buium now played it straight ahead for Drew O'Connor over the red line in the Wild Blue near right wing side into the corner. Backhanded it around the goal for Besser. Besser has 14 points in his last 10 games. Left it down low for O'Connor. Played it around the goal to the near side at the point. Wallander played it right back where it came from, near corner. Drew O'Connor shaking off a check. Played it to the far point. Here's a shot by Pettersson and a right pad save. Gustafsson. Besser put it on and another pad save by Gustafsson again as Marcus Pettersson initiated that try. Left wing over the Canuck line. Now it's Tarasenko taken away and thrown back out to center. And now the Canucks will ice the puck here as it has gone too far with 8:36 remaining in this first period. Shots 9-8 Canucks now, but the Wild still lead it 1-0 on the opening goal by Matthew Boldy, his 39th of the year, now one shy of 40 on the campaign. That's his 11th point in 14 games against Vancouver. He's got 4 goals now and 7 assists in 14 games played. He's on the ice now for the ensuing faceoff. Eriksson Ek to take this draw as he'll now win it as his stick broke on it as well. He's without a cue. He's going to head to the bench. Meanwhile, Boldy played it through the slot to the far wall, and it'll just be picked up by Drew O'Connor, and the Canucks will get to the red line and chip it in and get a change. Meanwhile, down to the near corner, the lone Canuck going after it is Mueller in the near corner. He's pinned to the boards now by Jacob Middleton. Eriksson Ek trying to pry that puck loose. He got it free from between the skates, and now up the near right wing it came, but right back to the corner now down to our right. Eriksson Ek again trying to knock it loose. Came free to the trapezoid as it's free for Eriksson Ek, and he'll scoop it up on one hand, pivot to his 4, and leave it on the near wing for Middleton. Middleton now with under 8 minutes to go in the first period. Played it over the Vancouver line on the left side, but it got taken back by the Canucks, and Karlsson will bank it in on the far boards over the Wild blue line. Came right back though to the red, and now it's reset to Bluger on the right side. He enters over the Wild blue line, pulls up at the right wing circle, now skates near the blue line. Played it down low around the goal. Bogosian will cut that off and play it right back up the near boards. Now it's sent right back the other way again by Sasson. He'll head to change. Only one Vancouver player down there. It's Teddy Bluger to try and create forechecking pressure, and he's unable to get it away from Ryan Hartman, who played it out the center for Boldy. He'll snap it right in. It goes off the end boards in front, and the Canucks Buium will have to pick it up on the right side. Now it's thrown out the center, but picked off by Zuccarello. Tried to give it to Kaprizov. Alert pass on the near wing for Hartman back in. Dropped in the slot. Shot by Zuccarello. Blocked to the near corner. Now in that corner, Zuccarello gave it right to DeBrusk, and now Vancouver's out the other way with speed 2-on-2 right side. It's one-armed in by DeBrusk behind the Minnesota net. He gave a heavy hit to Quinn Hughes behind. Left it in the near corner, Ohgren. Ohgren dropped it. Here's a shot by Wallander, and a glove save made by Gustafsson as he'll hold that, and a faceoff will come up here to his left with 6:51 remaining in this first period. And again, I mentioned this is a doubleheader on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Also going on right now was Matthew Owens calling the Flyers and the Red Wings. Last I checked, that game's tied at 1 goal apiece. Alex DeBrincat for the Red Wings and Tyson Forster in his first game back for the Flyers got it all equalized. Face off here to the left of Gustafsson in the Minnesota Wild defensive zone. Urhoff now is getting tossed out of the draw. Bobby Brink will have to step in, brought over from Philadelphia at the deadline, and he wins the draw clean against Aatu Räty. Now behind the Wild goal, far wall, it's Faber. This way for Quinn Hughes on the near wing. Here's Brink over the Canuck line, dropped in the slot. Urhoff a shot, save to Lopilo, rebound put to the near side by Tarasenko. Now Vladdy left it there on the wall for Urhoff, got it back, played it down low off the stick of Brink. Trying to kick to the stick, he's being defended here by Marcus Pettersson. Now the puck free to Urhoff. He's twisted around by a Canuck. They both go down as he and Räty are tied up with each leg tangled up between each other. And now the fans want a penalty. They're not going to get one. Meanwhile, the Canucks have time in their own zone to reset. With 6:15 to go in the first, Wallander up the right wing boards for Curtis Douglas. All 6-9 of them got tied up again with Urhoff. His legs are tied up again. It's got to be something Urhoff's doing with his body to get tangled like that twice on the same shift. But now the puck does roll down into Wild territory in the near corner to our right. Besser pivoting on his backhand at the right wing circle. Played it up between the dots, and Pettersson can't grab it. And now in the process, a penalty is called. And with 5:53 to go in the first period, an interference call's coming up, I believe, on the Canucks. As now it will be Drew O'Connor taking a seat. And when we return, Minnesota to the game's first power play up a goal. You're listening to an NHL Watchalong right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Minnesota to the game's first power play, as it'll be Drew O'Connor taking a seat for an interference minor, as it'll be the Minnesota power play going to work. It's third in the whole NHL. The Vancouver PK's dead last, 32nd in the entire NHL, and it's only a matter of time, I think, before this Wild power play strikes for a few in the same game here yet again. Overall on the season series against Vancouver, they're 2 for 6. That's 33.3%. And this power play will begin here with a face-off to the right of Nikita Tolopilo down here to our left. So it'll be Eriksson Ek for this draw for Minnesota. He'll go up against Atu Ratu for Vancouver, as there's 5:53 remaining in these opening 20 minutes. Minnesota here's won 8 consecutive home games against Vancouver, including 3 overtime wins and a shootout win. They're 16-5 overall in their last 21. As they win a draw and the power play begins, straight away it's Quinn Hughes to the near left dot and Zuccarello. With a snapshot right pad save by Tolopilo, passed across, couldn't get to Kaprizov as it's poked away by Hronek. Now on the far wall, Kaprizov fighting for it, won't get it. In the slot between the dots, Marcus Pettersson failed to clear. Kaprizov a shot blocked by Marcus. Now down at the right wing circle, Boldy a shot right pad save. Tolopilo, he'll cover, as that was a mad scramble for everyone there, as nobody had things going according to plan, but Tolopilo with 2 good right pad saves, able to keep it just 1-0 Minnesota. And this Minnesota power play, I mentioned, third overall in the NHL. They're led by Quinn Hughes, quarterbacking it with 33 points. He's got 31 assists and 2 power play goals. Next best on the team is Kirill Kaprizov, 16 power play goals, 13 assists. That's good for 29 points on the man advantage this year. Face-off here coming up to the left of Tolopilo. Eriksson Ek gets tossed out, so Boldy will have to step in for Minnesota. He's 46% at the dot this year. Elias Pettersson for Vancouver's 47% as well. Because if you round up, that's what Boldy is. And Pettersson ends up winning it, and it goes out the center, but it stopped right on the Canuck blue line. So the Wild only have to reset back here at the logo. Boldy will glide in straight away. Left it on the left wing boards for Zuccarello. Zuccarello off the back of the net, came to Boldy. Now to the left wing corner, Zook. Back up top, here's Quinn Hughes. Minute 18 to go on the power play. Quinn Hughes with it between the circles up top. To the far boards, here's Boldy in the slot. Tip Kaprizov cleared out Hronek as he was alertly there to snap it out. And back down the ice goes Quinn Hughes after it. So behind his own net with 1:05 to go. On this man advantage, under 5 to go in the first. Left it in front of the penalty boxes for Boldy. Up the left wing, Zuccarello spins with it over the Canuck blue line. Got tied up and lost it as it's poked down the ice by Bluger. Now going after it's Ohgren, shorthanded, pivoting now in the near corner. Taken to the boards by Quinn Hughes, got his stick lifted. And now Eriksson Ek took him down. That's going to be a tripping call. And that will extinguish the Minnesota power play. And now for 44 seconds, we're going to go to 4 skaters aside. And then the Vancouver Canucks will end up with a power play of their own. Oh, this is how 4-on-4 pops up on here. I started playing with the time, and normally when 4-on-4 would show up, or I would put 2 penalties in, there would be nothing going on the screen. So we'll do 44 seconds of 4-on-4. That'll pop up right there. How about that? And then when that expires, it'll be a power play for Vancouver for 1 minute and 16 seconds. So Eriksson Ek to the box for tripping. Ozone draw for the Canucks coming up. 4-on-4 this year. They've scored twice and given up 3, have the Canucks. And meanwhile, the Wild, 1 4-on-4 goal, given up twice. So face off here to the right of Philip Gustafsson, as it'll be Ryan Hartman against Teddy Bluger. Teddy Bluger representing Team Latvia in the Olympic Games this past February. Lost this draw to Hartman and now tied up Spurgeon on the far boards, but he was able to move it up to Hartman, and the pass to Brodin went off his skate and kicked out to center. So now Buium will reset for the Canucks. 30 seconds here on 4-on-4 time. 4:20 to go in the first. Over the blue line into the Wild zone comes Bluger. Pivoting on the far boards up top. Left it on the near right wing for Wallander near the blue line. Slid it across to Buium. He'll just exit the zone. And now D to D, the pass goes to Wallander. Straight up ahead. Here come the Canucks. Bluger again, or Sassone I should say. Dropped it to Bluger. His shot off the end boards, and now they score! It's Wallander, his second goal this year against the Minnesota Wild. And the Canucks have tied this game at 1. So these end boards here have been really lively tonight. I don't recall this being a common theme in this building, but on both sides of the ice in this period, there's been some bounces off the boards behind the Canucks goal. And then here, it was just launched right in off the end boards by Blueger. And I think he was intending to hit the net, but he missed the net. And it bounced right out in front to the right wing side. And Wallander's there while Gustafsson's well out of position. And with 8 seconds to go on the 4-on-4, the Canucks have tied this game. And now they're going to have a power play to work with as the penalties now expired. And now they are on a 5-on-4 man advantage. So out of the box comes Drew O'Connor, and a power play for Vancouver now tied at 1, with the shots tied at 11 apiece, 3:40 to go in the first period, as in come the Canucks on the far board, pass down low for Elias Pettersson, left behind for Besser, left it in the near corner for DeBrusk now, sauced up high to Hronek, across now at the far point. It'll be played down low to Besser, now given right back up top. Hronek in between the circles. DeBrusk, touch pass near side for Pettersson. Up top, Hronek, a shot off the bar, and now DeBrusk scores! Power play goal, and just like that, the Canucks, a 2-1 lead on the road over the Wild. So Jake DeBrusk going to get credit for that one. Up on the season now for him, he's got 18 goals as the initial shot by Hronek took a bounce in front, went off the crossbar and right back down on top of the blue paint. And then right there to clean up the loose changes, Gustafsson was well on top of the blue, was Jake DeBrusk, who was chilling on the goal line right next to him, and he was able to pick up that loose change out of midair and give the Canucks a 2-1 lead here in the first. So 15th power play goal on the year for DeBrusk. So out of the total on the year that he has of 18, only 3 have come at even strength. Has 15 power play goals for DeBrusk, leads the Canucks by a mile. And they have the lead 2-1 and now control off the ensuing faceoff. So this game, 2-1 Canucks, I mentioned to Jake, I don't know if he's watching right now, but he was in the broadcast with me last night in person. We called the Blues and Kings game. I didn't say it on air, but I said it to him, and I said it to my uncle, who I know is tuned in as well, as I, talk to those two guys about hockey on a regular basis every single day. I said 10-goal alert in this game for the Wild, and yeah, it's 2-1 Canucks right now, but just the way the Canucks game went yesterday, a back-to-back, the Wild got to right the ship. I feel like this game could just get as out of hand as the one yesterday between the Canucks and the Avalanche, and this is a pretty good start right here tonight. 2-1 Canucks with 2:39 to go in the first. A puck went out of play while I was speaking in the Minnesota defensive zone, so we'll see where they rule this faceoff. I believe it should stay to the right of the goaltender Gustafsson. But again, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you could chat here in the chat with us, and also hit the like button so it'll kind of boost our viewership to other people as the Stanley Cup playoffs get near. As I see Tim's chiming in the chat, he said he's hopping out, so he's got to hop into dad mode. So take care, Tim. Hope you have a good night. Colin's rooting for the Canucks. Know you as a Stars fan here don't want the Wild to do anything, as they're going to be offsides here as they tried to enter the Canucks zone with 2:31 remaining in the first period. And a scoreboard update, by the way, in Philadelphia. For those of you interested in Matthew Owen's broadcast with the Red Wings and the Flyers, Lucas Raymond in the final 90 seconds of period 2 gave the Red Wings a 2-1 lead, assist to Comfort and Simon Edvinsson on that Detroit go-ahead goal. They're desperate for points, as are Philly. That's going to be a fun third period. Be sure to head over there during the intermission here of this one to catch Matthew Owen's call on that, and head over here when this one's done, as you got to catch the Eastern Conference action as well. That's the beauty of these doubleheaders. We're giving you plenty of stuff to ping pong around with. And also on the second channel, there'll be NIT basketball tonight with Seth Eves. So now the Wild here in the O zone with a shot by Faber from between the circles out near the blue line, gobbled up by Tolopilo, as he'll hold that with 2:07 to go. As a graphic here, the big three in the Central Division being brought to us here by FanDuel Sportsnet Minnesota. The Avs 6-5-1, the Stars 2-5-2, and the Wild 3-5-1, all within their last 10-ish games or so. 9-12 is the range they gave us on the broadcast. So none of the top three teams in the Central Division are really playing great right now, but I think that's just a testament to I think they're all locked into their positions. They just want to stay healthy getting into the dance, and that's just kind of how it's going to go for the final 2 weeks here. Everything's pretty much determined. Minnesota could get home ice if they stay or try and get hot and the Stars stay in a funk, but that's just a different story for another day if the tides change here in the next week or so. But the Wild, controlling with under 2 minutes to go in the first in the O-zone, have the top line on the ice. Kaprizov with a shot from far out, missed to the blocker side and got the glass behind Tolopilo. Now on his own rebound behind the goal line. Kaprizov, nice nifty pass to Zuccarello up top. Came to the near wing Hughes. Quinn Hughes walking the left wing boards at the circle. A shot went off of Marcus Pettersson's leg in behind the Canuck goal to the far wall. Now it bounces up to Hartman covering right point. Threw it to the net. Blocker save Tolopilo. Rebound to Marcus Pettersson, who cleared around the goal from the trapezoid, but not out. Now Hartman had it poked off his blade by Bluger, and it rolls in front of the penalty boxes. Quinn Hughes resetting with Besser all over him. Bounced it on the left wing for Eriksson Ek to pool cue it behind the Canuck net. Here's Bluger once again from the trapezoid. Put it up the far wing, won't get out. Spurgeon will keep it. Played it to Boldy, far right wing circle, cutting towards the slot. Boldy looking, shooting, save Tolopilo, hit him right in the gut, and he'll cover with 58.2 to go in this first period. Now P.O. Joseph and Matthew Boldy exchanging some words. Doesn't look like there's too much extracurriculars going on, though, after that. So everybody's cool heads will part ways. And we'll have an ozone draw coming up here again for the Minnesota Wild. So I mentioned it's the first time these two teams are meeting since the Quinn Hughes trade back a few months ago. That sent Zeev Buium, Liam Ohgren, and Marco Rossi all to the Vancouver Canucks for Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes was selected by Vancouver 7th overall in the 2018 NHL draft, had 432 points in 459 games for them. As the Canucks here win a D-zone draw and throw it right down the ice, this will end up being an icing. So a whistle at 51.7 to go. But Quinn Hughes, as I mentioned with the Canucks, had 26 points in 30 games across 2 Stanley Cup playoff appearances. So he had a big part of the Vancouver Canucks organization throughout the course of the last 8 years or so, as that 2020 team and the 2024 team were the very good teams, as that 2020 team was just a goal away from getting to the Western Conference Final, and they also got to Game 7 against Edmonton in 2024, so each of those years just a game away. In 2020 itself, in the bubble, just a goal away from a Western Conference Final berth, but that's as far as they got in the Quinn Hughes era in Vancouver. But it was a nice return, 3 good solid pieces, as now the Canucks turn it over in their own zone. Here's the pass down low for Johansson, put it off the side of the net from the far corner. Now behind the goal, Eriksson Ek getting roughhoused around here roughly by Marcus Pettersson. And now Ratu hit hard by Eriksson Ek, took him down to his knees in the near corner. This is getting a little physical as Eriksson Ek still jousting down to our left. It's out of the camera, but now he's going to end up getting away from Hronek, and Hronek now with the puck in the final 15 of the first period goes D to Elias Pettersson, and now back to Hronek. The Canucks look like they're just going to kill the period. They're not going to move it ahead, and that will send us to the intermission here. 2-1 Vancouver over the Minnesota Wild through 20 minutes tonight. When leading through 20 minutes this season, the Canucks, they have only done it 17 times now. In the previous 16 games, they're 10-5-1. The Wild are 4-14-4 when trailing after the first. And getting a look here at the replay, it looks like Marcus Johansson got banged up on that collision within P.O. Joseph, Hronek, Ratu, all those guys in there that had Eriksson Ek get into the fray. And Eriksson Ek still eyeing down the Canuck bench as he's walking to the tunnel. So Joel Eriksson Ek not happy for the Wild, want to defend his teammates. He's taking numbers for sure. So we'll see what that leads to in the second period, as I think we might see a response physically from the Wild if Marcus Johansson appears to be out for the rest of the game. We'll get an update on him throughout the intermission or perhaps early in the second. So stick around for that. But a recap here of the scoring in this first period. Opening it was Matt Boldy with goal 39 on the year for him, as he was able to get it past the 5-hole of Nikita Tolopilo, Johansson, and Eriksson Ek, the assists on that goal. And Tom Wallander, his 5th of the year from Bluger and Max Sasson, as it was a funny bounce off the end boards. A shot by Bluger just ricocheted behind the Minnesota net right out in front. Wallander, wide open cage as Gustafsson was out of position, as he gets his 5th of the year and 2nd this season against the Wild. And then Jake DeBrusk, power play goal, his 15th power play goal of the year out of the 18 goals he scored forward overall. Assists to Hronek and Pettersson, as all three of those guys extend their point streaks now to 3 games, or I should say Hronek's to 3 games, and Elias Pettersson's and DeBrusk's to 4 games. So shots on goal, a lot in that first period. It was open hockey, 15 for the Wild, 14 for the Canucks, as it was high octane, high scoring action in the first 20 minutes. And also just a quick note, when giving up the first goal, the Canucks are 10-31-4. But in that first period, they were able to get the lead after trailing once 1-0. They got a 4-on-4 goal and a power play marker to carry that lead into the intermission. So head on over to, well, here, I'm going to instruct this to you much nicer because this is going to be very specific. Got to do this the right way. So bear with me here. Hit the X on the chat. Then you're going to hit the little red microphone logo that takes you to the channel. And when you get to the channel, you're going to hit that live tab, right? And then when you hit that live tab, you're going to see a game between the Red Wings and the Flyers. And Matthew Owens is going to be calling that game for you. I'd like you to go listen to him while I'm in intermission here. I'd appreciate that very much. And when he heads to the second intermission, come back here and join me for the second period between the Wild and the Canucks from St. Paul. But it's 2-1 Vancouver through 20 minutes of play tonight. You're listening to this game between the Wild and the Canucks with Jaric Rubel right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Welcome back into the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Second period set to begin between the Canucks and the Wild from St. Paul. Jaric Rubel with you here on the channel. 2-1 Canucks through 20 minutes. Tom Wallinder's 5th of the year. DeBrusk's 18th for the Canucks. And Matt Boldy's 39th of the year for the Wild have us where we are now as we're set to begin the middle frame. Eriksson against Blueger for the draw. Canucks attacking right to left. And meanwhile, the Wild are going left to right in the period of the long change. It's won by Blueger and the Canucks, and the pass ahead now in front of the penalty boxes for Sassone as this period's underway. Left wing circle, here's Linus Karlsson, a shot off the pads of Gustafsson, rebound goes in behind. Now a centering attempt from Sassone ends up going back to him, has to backhand it up to the point. Buium got it poked away, here comes Boldy on a breakaway, looking for number 40, straight in, a shot, he scores! 40 goals on the year for Matthew Boldy, and the Wild have tied this game at 2, 23 seconds in to the middle frame. So Matthew Boldy, up to 40 goals on the year now, leads the Minnesota Wild up to 78 points as well, which continues a career-high season for him. He poke-checked Zeev Buium, his ex-teammate, at the blue line, at the Wild blue line, and then he went off to the races, collecting that puck past the red and over the blue into the Canucks zone straight in, and froze Tolopilo with a snapshot. And Matthew Boldy with his second goal tonight and 40th on the year. So 2-2 here in St. Paul's. The Wild control off the ensuing draw. And up the right wing, here comes Zuccarello. Wanted to pass across, but had nowhere near the stick of Quinn Hughes in his sight. But now from the far wall, it's back in the slot. Zuccarello this way. Here's Hughes, a shot out, and Tolopilo get it. He did. His stomach's laying on top of it for a whistle with 19:08 to go in the second period. As Ryan Hartman on top of the blue paint now being a bit of a pest. But look at the replay here. From the edge of the far left wing circle, Zuccarello faked a one-timer and slid it quickly to the near wall for Quinn Hughes. And then his one-timer was trapped under the left arm and hip of Tolopilo, who then landed on top of it for the whistle. Face-off coming up here to his left. It's going to be won by the Wild as it's played back to Spurgeon across Brodin. Puck down there in the slot, picked up by Drew O'Connor. He'll gallop with it over the red line. Now the Wild blue as it's backhanded towards Gustafsson. Goalie shot it right up the right wing boards. Here's Kaprizov over the Canuck blue line, straight in, trying to make a move in the slot. Lost it, sticked away from Tolopilo to the near corner now. In that near corner, down to our right. The Canucks try to move it up. They can't get it out. Hartman played it in front. Blocked now off the stick of Kaprizov. Penalty coming up as he's tripped, and P.O. Joseph's going to take a seat here for the Canucks, and the Wild are going to go to the power play here just after tying this game 23 seconds into the period. So P.O. Joseph not happy with the call, but the call is made. The referees tonight didn't mention them in the first period. Mitch Dunning with Corey Sivert, and then Travis Gorlitz with Kyle Flemington are the linesmen this evening. So the Wild had their first power play opportunity cut short with 44 seconds left, and then the Canucks ended up scoring 4-on-4 and on the ensuing power play after that. So now the Wild with an opportunity to get a special teams marker of their own. Face-off here coming up to the right of Tolopilo in the face-off circle on the far side, down to our right. It'll be Ek here for this draw against Ratu, as Zuccarello, Kaprizov, Boldy, and Hughes are his power play mates. Ratu wins the draw, though, as it's going to be played down the ice by Vancouver as it's shot down by Blueger. And now behind the goal, it'll be picked up by Quinn Hughes as Gustafsson leaves it for him. Power plays, by the way, are powered by this YouTube channel. We just hit 300 subscribers. Help us get to 400 and beyond, and hit that subscribe button and be the next one to do so. Now the Wild controlling here, down to our right in the Canucks zone on the right wing boards at the circle. It's Ek. Played it up high to Kaprizov at the right wing side. Lost it, though, as he mishandled it and came out of the zone. Rare misplay there from the Carillionaire. Now here is Quinn Hughes at his own blue line. Left it for Boldy in over the logo. Now the Canucks zone. Far wall. Backhander finds Zuccarello. Played it back down low for Boldy, who let it cut come right down to his blade and delicately played it on the near wall, but it comes back out to center as X unable to keep it. And now in front of the Wild bench, Zuccarello will snap it back in with the final minute here of this Wild power play. Now it's back out to center as Quinn Hughes has to control after a mishap ended up back out to neutral. Now Hughes again on the far wall. Zuccarello's into the Canuck zone. From behind the goal, he played it up the right wing wall to Matthew Boldy. He got spun around by Ratu. A clearing attempt doesn't get out as Echo keep it. Played it around the goal to the far wall. Kaprizov up top. Zuccarello gave it right back on the left wing for Kirill. Trying to hold it as it's in front of him. Gets to it. Played it behind for Eric Sadek. Near right wing boards in the final half minute for Boldy. Up top between the circles, Hughes gets to the left wing dot. A shot and a save made. Rebound. Tolopilo finds it. And he takes the whistle with 28 seconds to go on this power play for the Wild. 17:07 remaining here in period number 2. Now another crowd gathering here on top of the blue paint as Eric Sadek here having a couple of words, and we watched him at the end of period number 1 take the number of Atu Ratu and P.O. Joseph, who ended up taking the hit there on Marcus Johansson, who we have not seen here in period number 2. Feel like it might be safe to say, as I have not seen an update yet, but I feel like we might not see him the rest of tonight. We'll go to the old Twitter machine real quick and type in Marcus Johansson and see if any of the beat writers here have given us an update on him. But meanwhile, a face-off to the right of Tolopilo's one, and now Johansson's on the ice, so there he is, his first shift of the second period, as a pass down low comes across for Tarasenko, and that's not going to connect, as it'll be cleared back out by the Canucks in the final Baker's dozen here of this Wild power play. They're going to hurry it back up ahead. They got speed through center. Here's Brink on the far wall. The pass connects with Tarasenko. Sent it this way for Hartman. Bounced off his blade on the right wing. Shielding against Besser. Got it to Johansson. Found it across off the far wall. It'll be played by Faber off the bounce. At the blue line, Johansson. His long shot. Rebound given to Lopilo. Off to the far corner it goes. Penalty time now up for the Wild. Even strength we are. On the far side, down to our right. Here's Hartman slinging it up to Faber, but it's past him all the way down the ice. And now Gustafsson will have to corral it. Gave it now to Jonas Brodin. He pulls up as the Wild are changing. The fourth line now on the ice. McCarron, Trennan, and Foligno, as it'll be tipped in by Marcus Foligno on the right wing boards. Down behind the Canuck goal to our right. A bouncing puck couldn't be grabbed by McCarron. On the far wall, Foligno will put it back down low. Wallender's grabbed on the left shoulder by McCarron, but he let go quickly. No call. As on the far side now, he's trying to battle for it with Muller. Muller now has it under his left skate, trying to poke at it. Now it's under McCarron's right leg in the far corner. It came free around the goal to the near side, and it'll be picked up Spurgeon. Walks it along the blue, dropped it at the far point for Brodin. To Foligno. Back to Brodin. Far side, a shot there. Fought off Tolopilo. Rebound in the slot. Cleared to the near wall. Now Spurgeon pinching pool cued it back down low. Here's Michael McCarron. Played it off the far wall. Now it's going to be grabbed by Curtis Douglas and cleared as far as the red line. The Wild are going to quickly turn back in. Yakov Trennan put it in the near corner. He's going to run Marcus Pettersson into the end board softly, as Yakov Trennan's going to drill you as well, as he's got 371 hits coming into the night, which leads the entire league and is a franchise record here for the Minnesota Wild in a single season. As now Curtis Douglas will get out for the Canucks. An area play on the far wing. DeBrusk is in over the Wild line. A shot and a save made on the far post. Hugging it is Gustafsson, as he'll take a whistle with 15:04 to go after that butterfly save was made. So I mentioned Philip Gustafsson earlier. He's on a nice run as of late in the blue paint, as in 14 of his last 18 starts, he's collected points. He's 12-4-2, and since November 16th is 22-6-4. That ranks tied for 4th in the NHL, and has a .915 save percentage with 3 shutouts. Had great numbers here with the Wild in this regular season. He did struggle with Team Sweden in the Olympic tournament, but overall here in St. Paul, he's been putting up great numbers for John Hines' crew. He watches the Canucks win an O-zone draw, though, to his left, and it's played down low out of the corner, played to the point now Joseph. His shot deflected by Elias Pettersson, and a good stick save made there. Going down in the butterfly position was Gustafsson. Rebound to the near corner, gets put behind the Wild net, and up it goes on the far wing. Middleton hits Urhoff in stride on the far wing over the Canucks line. Behind the net he goes. Pulled up in the trapezoid and lost possession. Now a good hit there delivered on Elias Pettersson by Bobby Brink, which jarred the possession loose. And now the Wild get possession back, and now Middleton will ring it around the goal. To the near boards it goes Bogosian. Played it back to the corner. Tarasenko ends up with it. Trying to shield off a hit from Ratu. Couldn't, as now it's played up for DeBrusk and chipped over the blue line into the Wild zone. Going after it's Middleton and Carlson, as now it'll be played back out by the Wild. Off a leg was the pass by Brink, but it found Hartman, who now circles in his own zone and heads up the right wing. Made a nice move past Elias Pettersson in. That's Niels Pettersson, and now a shot up over the bar, goes off the glass. And now up on the far boards, Quinn Hughes will keep it. Played it around the stanchion on the near side. Heard the first rumble of thunder, as now here's Kaprizov on a return pass. The shot, he scores! What a give-and-go play between Kaprizov and Zuccarello, and the Wild lead it 3-2 on Kaprizov's 40th. So the Wild have 2 40-goal scorers this year, as Kirill Kaprizov says, "Matt, I don't like that you have more goals than me." He ties them just 6 minutes after Boldy got his 40th of the year. And now Kaprizov with his 40th on a pretty passing play between him and Zuccarello makes it 3-2 Minnesota. From the near circle, it was Kaprizov who fed it across to Zuccarello, and right back the pass came for the one-timer, and it made it 3-2 Minnesota. I can only think about how goofy it sounds that I was talking about the Thunder and was going to bring up the weather in my area, as there's going to be severe storms moving in if some of you guys haven't read the chat. So if there's any issues with the stream, that might be why, but hopefully that doesn't happen. But during the start of that explanation, the Wild made it 3-2, and they want to make it 4-2 as Kirill's back in on the far left wing. Kind of stumbled as he approached the left wing circle. Stays with it, though, and a backhand pass in the slot for Zuccarello, and a shot got blocked off the leg of Marcus Pettersson. Came back to Zook on the near wing, put it up to Quinn Hughes. Zuccarello's been passing the puck tremendously in this game. He's on one right now, but Faber unfortunately turned that puck over, and now the Canucks are out on the far wing. Sassone trying to make a move past Quinn Hughes, but he intercepted that nicely as he approached the blue line, and now he'll turn in his own end and take it out the center. Quinn Hughes over the red line, takes it himself over the Canuck blue, but he got poke checked, and now out comes Ratu, one-on-one the other way, but doesn't like his chances, so he puts it on in as the back check was roaring from Johansson, who ends up getting to that loose puck first. Now the Wild on the far wing, in their own zone. Eriksson Ek got poke checked. Canucks trying to take it back. Ratu does, flinged it to the far corner. Down to our left, Curtis Joseph got upended there by Quinn Hughes, lost his stick, but he knew it was a penalty. He looked right at the ref and just agreed right away as he shoved Curtis Douglas down from behind. The Canucks already struck once on the power play, are going to go back as Hughes takes a seat. And when we return, we'll see if they make it 2 for 2 and tie the game at 3. Here's a quick random commercial break mic check, but I want to hear something while I have the opportunity. I'll be back in a second, though. Welcome back into the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. The Wild have just taken a 3-2 lead over the Canucks on Kirill Kaprizov's 40th of the year, as they lead it 3-2 here with 7 minutes gone by in the second period. But the Canucks now on the power play as Quinn Hughes takes a seat for a board given to Curtis Douglas. So the Canucks 1-for-1 on the power play tonight. They're entering the Wild zone now after they had to chase back. When we returned from commercial, I was immediately looking at the Canucks in their D zone, but they're in the Wild zone now to our left. Elias Pettersson tried to hit DeBrusk on the paint, but it was taken away by Marcus Foligno, and Foligno now will give it to Faber. He'll nudge it across to Middleton, who will shoot it down the ice, and down the ice it will go. While I get a moment, let me know in the chat if my mic sounds like it has like a little echo behind it. Not like an echo, but it sounds like I'm talking in I don't even know, just like a small room where there's just like a lot of reverberation. When I listened back to some of it, it sounded like that. When I do two mics and switch it back to one, sometimes I have issues. But if it sounds good to you guys, please let me know that everything's good, just so I don't mess with anything and we're all good for the rest of the stream. But there's 50 seconds left on this Canuck power play. As Besser got it to the far corner, Drew O'Connor trying to get there. Yurov took it. He'll send it up, but not out. As the bouncing puck's kept by Hronek, slung to the left wing boards, unable to get there's Ohgren as Spurgeon clears. And down the ice it rolls again, 35 to go. On the Vancouver power play on the penalty to Hughes. As now the power play graphic comes up. Sorry about that. But on the left wing comes O'Connor now. Over the Wild blue line. Tried to get it up to Ohgren. It doesn't get to him, but it came to Carlson. He's in the slot. Lost the handle. Got it back. Put it towards the net. Ended up behind the goal. As now he'll backhand it to the far wall. Wallander slid it up to the point. Here's Buium covering to the far side. Wallander, his shot, save Gustafsson, rebound behind O'Connor, hit hard there behind by Middleton, puck now to Wallander, far wall, came up top to Buium, the ex-Wild to the far circle. Wallander, long wrist shot, blocked in front by Middleton, penalty time, no up, stretch pass up ahead. Here's Quinn Hughes on a breakaway against his old team. He's in with a shot and a save with the right pad by Tolopilo, as Quinn Hughes tried to go 5-hole like Matthew Boldy, but was unsuccessful. Has it now in the near quarter to our right, does Quinn Hughes. His pass up for Boldy goes past him and all the way down the ice. And it'll be Philip Gustafsson now leaving it behind for Bogosian in the trapezoid. So the Canucks come up empty-handed on their second power play tonight. They're 1-for-2 as the Wild still lead at 3-2 here in this game. 10 minutes left in the second period as we've crossed the halfway point in this one. Jaric Rubel, so glad you've joined me here on the broadcast. Again, severe weather is approaching my area, so if anything goes haywire, just assume that power ended up not sticking around, but hopefully that doesn't happen. But just giving the heads up for all of you guys listening, as now the puck rolls back into Vancouver ice. Marcus Pettersson's on it. Put it up on the left wing boards. Couldn't connect with Muller with the pass. The Wild will take back over. Between the benches, Brodino snap it into the Canucks zone. Down to our right in the near corner, Zuccarello. Nice pass in front and missing. The net was Kaprizov. It's behind in the trapezoid now as Zuccarello's jumping for it. This guy's on just something this game. Zuccarello's just snapping passes. He's really fast out there, and you saw him leap on the back of the net, as now there's an icing on Vancouver. This top line will for sure stay on the ice, even though they're almost a minute into their shift, as they've looked tremendous in this game for the Wild. So another look here at this breakaway by Quinn Hughes, and Tolopilo, I think, kind of got used to the Wild shooting 5-hole on him, as that time he was down in the butterfly ready to make the save and had no chance of letting Quinn Hughes beat him between the wickets that time. Face-off won, though, by the Wild again to the left of Tolopilo. Right wing boards at the circle, it's Kaprizov. Tried to go off the far post and in, but missed it outside by about a few inches. And now it rolled all the way down the far wall for Spurgeon. Spurgeon now up the right wing over the Canuck line is Zuccarello. Twisted a pass back, but it came to the Canucks. Now they're ahead 3-on-2 the other way. Linus Karlsson, far wing, had a pass go off Middleton's skate. It comes to the near side in the Wild zone. Absorbing a hit there was Sasson from Kaprizov. And now Kaprizov trying to dig a puck out from underneath his leg. Down to Middleton's right here, trying to watch it, as he's just a straggling defenseman trying to get that loose puck, but instead it rode up the boards. And now Marcus Pettersson had a shot that blocked Middleton right there. That hit him right in the unprotected part of the knee, and he went down in a heap, and he now gets to the bench in pain, doubled over, and gets some pats on the head from his teammates. Meanwhile, the puck back down to our left behind the Wild net with 8:15 to go in the second. And here comes Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes over the red line, flipped it in from the logo. To the far corner it goes. Bobby Brink backhanded it near wall. Tarasenko tried to give it back, went off escape, but there to help out Zurov. Daniel Yurov tied up behind the goal by Marcus Pettersson. Puck free to Brink. Here's Tarasenko. Oh, and a save by Tolopilo as he dove out and got it with the logo on his chest to make that save on Tarasenko. Meanwhile, to his left still, Brink kept it at the right wing. Put it up top. Faber. His shot seen and held by Tolopilo as he'll take a whistle with 7:48 to go here in this second period. We'll step aside again. The Wild lead at 3-2 on goals this period by Matthew Boldy and Kirill Kaprizov. Back in Minnesota with the Wild up 3-2 on Kaprizov's 40th of the year, as he's now up to 40 on the campaign, and that's tied with Matthew Boldy for the team lead. Kaprizov as well, now up to 82 points on the season. That is good enough for the team lead in the point category for the Minnesota Wild. He also has his second in assists, as he's got 42 apples on the campaign, and the Wild here lead it 3-2 over the Vancouver Canucks, as they've been playing high-scoring games as of late. Have the Canucks 8-6 last night, 3-2 at the halfway point here tonight, and we'll see how many we climb up to in this game here this evening. So 7:37 left in the second. Puck down in the Wild zone to our left as the top line goes to work for the Canucks. Elias Pettersson trying to shield off Quinn Hughes in the far corner. Does as he protects. Got it to the back. Here's Buium to the left side. Here's Joseph. P.O. Joseph button hooking at the left wing corner. Put it up top to Buium again. Buium will just leave it in behind. It rolls through the trapezoid to DeBrusk. Tried the center for Ohgren on top of the paint. Couldn't connect. And now on the far side, the puck's lodged free to the near wall. Going after it is Ohgren again. On the backhand, played it down low. Rossi fresh on the ice. Rug it around to DeBrusk on the far side. Back down in the trapezoid, it's Rossi. Left it. Now Ohgren takes it. 3 ex-Minnesota Wild players all in from the trade on the ice right now. Ohgren, Rossi, and Buium. But the puck gets taken back by Minnesota and cleared out to the red line. Right back with it, though, is Rossi. Snapped it on the near side. Couldn't connect with Buium as he's late in a shift here. He's going to wait back as the Canucks change their forward core again. And now hits Besser with the pass. Besser in on the left wing, fresh on the ice. Fell over as he got the left wing circle. Did enough to get it down low for Drew O'Connor out of the trapezoid. Banked it up to the point. Slid to this way Marcus Pettersson. Off his blade, though, it goes out of play with 6:27 to go in the second period. So coming up this weekend on the Ultimate Sports Media Network, it'll be a pair of college basketball Final Four games with Matthew Owens on Saturday. UConn and the Illini going at it at 6 p.m. Eastern. Then the headliner, Michigan versus Arizona at 8:30 Eastern. And then that'll be followed up on Monday, April 6th with the national championship game with the winner of each. I know Matthew's very excited for that. He's currently calling the Flyers and the Red Wings on this channel. That game's 3-2 Detroit. As it stands, Patrick Kane got the 3-1 goal for Detroit, and then Travis Konechny made it 3-2. And now it's a 1-goal game out in the city of brotherly love. So now the Canucks in this one, up in St. Paul. Go back to work in the Wild O zone. Bluger from behind the goal. Rug it around to the far point. It's thrown now in between the circles for Karlsson. His shot got blocked out in the slot. Turned around Bluger. Put it over the crossbar. Behind the goal, Marcus Johansson's pinned up against the glass by Bluger. Trying to get it free. He does. Johansson up the far wall. Puck deflects out the center ice. Back on it is Marcus Pettersson for the Canucks. As now up the far right wing, he'll snap it out to center. Rolls near the red line between the benches. Grabbed by the Canucks, as now Linus Karlsson on the far wing gets over the Wild blue line. Pinned to the boards by Johansson. Lost it, got it back. Now rug it around the goal. Met on the left wing side at the circle by Hronek. Up top, here's a shot. Rossi off a skate. Now boldly tried to get ahead for a breakaway, but got tied up and couldn't get free as Hronek ends up with it. On the left wing, O'Connor played it ahead. Besser will one-arm it in behind the Wild goal. Going after it for Minnesota's Middleton. Poked it to the near side. Bogosian had trouble with it. Came back behind for Middleton. He had it lost by Ohgren, but now Bogosian helped him out as the two defensemen go and help each other out to get that puck out the center. And now into the Canucks zone, it'll go courtesy Marcus Foligno. Down to our right, in the far corner. It's played up to the far point, Middleton. Slid this way, Spurgeon. His shot deflected by McCarron, saved by Tolopilo on the short side. In the near corner, down to our right, here's McCarron on his backhand. Got poke checked, but here's Yakov Trenin to pick it up. Gave a reverse hit, lost the puck, but McCarron got it back. Behind the Canuck goal again, it's Marcus Foligno. Left it in the far corner, pinching's Brodin down low, the defenseman. Pinned up against the boards by a pair of Canucks, Buium and Rossi. Trying to get it free, Hronek, who joined the party. Puck just pinballing around in that far corner. Now came free to Yakov Trenin. Trenin shielding on the far left wing. Got it towards the net, but it's picked off by Buium. Cleared ahead by the Canucks. And now Besser played it far wall for Rossi. In over the Wild line. Pulled up, backhanded it down low. Besser will get on it first behind the net. Got cut off, though, by Brodin as neither end up with the puck. Spurgeon will as he put it up the right wing boards. Now it's stretched up ahead into the Canucks zone. This might be icing. It will as P.O. Joseph cut off Kaprizov there nicely. And it ends up with a whistle blowing with 4:09 to go here in period number 2. Look here at this tip by McCarron. It was right through his legs, but Tolopilo in good possession to end up with that save. As I'm now hearing an echo, a really bad one in my ears. So if this sounds different to you guys, let me know. But this just started out of nowhere. I have never heard an echo on my broadcast here. So if anything sounds different, just let me know. I don't know where the echo came from, but it's kind of rough, not going to lie. But on the near side, here is a face-off won by the Canucks. Flung through the paint by Ohgren. Will not connect, and now it's flung back out the center by the Wild. And now in the Canucks zone, resetting will be Wallander with it. As a goal tonight, put it up the near left wing. But right on the blade of Quinn Hughes, he goes across now to Brock Faber. Faber now tipped it out the center, as it'll be picked up by Liam Ohgren. And now he'll play it across for Pettersson. And his backhander will go down behind the Wild goal line again as Quinn Hughes picks it up and gives it to Faber at 3:33 to go in the second period. Jaric Rubel with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. The Canucks entering back into the Wild zone. Left wing, Douglas, a wrister, went past the glove side of Gustafsson and up the boards to P.O. Joseph at the far point. Played it back down low, Douglas to the slot. His shot fought off Gustafsson. Rebound to the far boards again. Flick to the point. Making the drive real quick is Buium. Now got it down low and around the goal. It'll roll. To the near side, Zuccarello grabs it for Minnesota. Run over by P.O. Joseph. Lost possession. Now Ratu tried to tie up Faber in behind. Couldn't grab the puck as now Hughes will give it back to Faber, and with under 3 minutes to go, his pass up the far wing's intercepted. Back in come the Canucks once more. Here is Sassone on the left side. Dropped it. Pettersson fanned on a shot. As now it's thrown up ahead. Tried to hit Kaprizov. Was Urov, could not. And now the Canucks will twist it back in. Final 2:40 of the second. Played behind the Wild goal. Boom. Can't get there as it's thrown back out the center, and the Canucks will have to chase back on it. 2:30 in the second period. Luger will play it back ahead for Sassone into the Wild zone. Had it thrown away from him by Faber, as now the Wild get it back into neutral ice. Bobby Brink galloping over the line, left it near side. Tarasenko tried to give it across to Urov, but it's taken away by Karlsson, and the Canucks back out to the red line will snap it in. It'll go into the near corner of the Wild zone as Bogosian flicked it right back up the near side. In front of the penalty boxes, it's stashed right back in by Wallander. Bogosian will once again grab it. 2 minutes left in the second period. He goes across now to Middleton. Middleton up the far wall for Brink. He'll backhand it down behind the goal. As now Tolopilo will leave it for Elias Niels Pettersson. Now up ahead Wallander. Played it off the stick blade of Rossi, but right back into Minnesota possession. As Bogosian played it up on the right wing for Boldy. Crisscrossing over the Canucks line. Near side. Dropped it Eric Sinek. His shot missed to the far post. Back behind the goal. It rolls to the near side. Bogosian. Eric Sinek at the right wing circle. Got met there by Marcus Pettersson. Lost possession. Now got it back. Shielding here against him. Up the boards. Now got poke checked. Lost the possession again. And now Pettersson up the boards. Can't get it past Bogosian on the right side. And now just battling for it near the Canuck blue line. It will eventually get out as Besser will ring it in. Goes behind to the trapezoid. Gustafsson will stick it aside to the near wall. Now Middleton in the final 66. Up the right boards for Marcus Johansson. Cut off along the boards by the penalty box. But now the Hronek lost it. In comes Boldy. Right wing into the Canucks zone. Sidesteps a man. Boom. A shot and a save made by Tolopilo. Ricocheted in behind. Now in the near corner. It'll be rattled around by Johansson. Far wall Brodin. Up high for Boldy. Boldy from the far point in front of his own bench. Rung it back down low in the final 45 now of the second period. Spurgeon from that near wall. Rug it around to Shredden. Shredden lost possession. Canucks get it back. As now it'll be taken by Buium at the red line. He'll snap it on in once again. It'll rattle around the Wild goal line. Come up the near side for McCarron. McCarron had to shove a man down. That was Elias Niels Pettersson. Couldn't get it out, though, as now the Wild will try again with Brodin on the far wing. Pass up ahead. Couldn't hit a falling Yakov Trenin, but a bouncing puck comes to Marcus Foligno instead on the far wing into the Canucks zone. Twisting far circle. Lost possession as he fell over. 10 seconds left in the second as the Canucks will snap it back in from the red line. Gustafsson out to stop that. He'll give it to McCarron on the near side in the final 4, and he will kill off the rest of this period. As to the second intermission we go, with the Wild striking twice in this period. Both 40-goal milestones, the first of which belonging to Matthew Boldy, and the second going to Kirill Kaprizov. And when leading through 2 periods this year, the Wild are 29-0-4. The Canucks on the other side are 38-1 when trailing through 2 periods. 1 period remains here in St. Paul between the Wild and the Canucks, as the shots on goal in this one, Minnesota Wild lead at 26-20 in the shot count, and again they lead at 3-2 on the scoreboard through 40 minutes. Stick around. We'll be back for the third period before you know it, but while you get a moment, head on over to Matthew Owen's stream and catch the end of the Red Wings and the Flyers. It'll be right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. I'll see you back here for the third. You're listening to this NHL Watchalong with Jaric Rubel. 3-2 Wild through 40 minutes. Back here with the voice real quick. I have no idea where that echo came from, and it's still coming through in my headset with an echo, so I have no idea what's happening right now. I'm going to try and figure this out. Still got an echo, I think. Yep. Okay, now I think this is going to be okay. For some reason, it switched to a pod mic instead of the dynamic mic, and that has to be why. But I think it should be good now. Okay, I reset my board. Now I think we're good. No echo in the further notice. Let's see how this sounds on the replay. This is the goofiest intermission all 7 of you will ever get to be a part of. Just checking this mic again because I'm going to turn the audio up again. Now I don't really know why I'm not hearing myself. What if I hit that? Okay, that might be part of it. I think it's better now. I don't know. I just hope that it sounds okay. I'm sorry for the echo, you guys, but it just happened out of nowhere. I just don't know how to troubleshoot this properly while having a period to go, but we'll see what happens. Welcome back to Minnesota for the start of the third period. My name's Jaric Rubel with you here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube page. The Minnesota Wild lead at 3-2 over the Vancouver Canucks through 40 minutes of play. 2 goals by the Wild in that second period got them set up to lead into the final frame. Matthew Boldy's 40th of the year, Kaprizov's 40th of the year, made it 3-2 Wild, the only 2 goals in the second period. So off the ensuing draw at center to begin the third, the Wild are able to win it as it's played back by Eriksson Ek and thrown into the Canucks zone. The Wild attacking right to left here in this third period, the Canucks moving left to right. So at the left wing circle, here is the Wild Quinn Hughes. Played it down low for Boldy. He's tied up, but got it to Marcus Johansson. He fights through a check from Hronek, left it in the corner. It'll be rung around by Eriksson Ek to the far point Faber. Bunted it nicely to Johansson, who skated in to grab it on the far wall. Down to the corner, knocked off the puck by Bluger, dug out behind by Boldy. Twisted in front, Ek, a shot and a save made Tolopilo at the left pad. And it's kicked back out all the way to center. So the Wild reset, and while we got a moment, if you could let me know if the audio sounds good here, I'll just put it next to my ear real quick. And it sounds like there's no more echo, so I figured it out. I've troubleshooted 2 things in one stream. Look at me, a jack of all trades. I'm producing, directing, troubleshooting, play-by-play, color. I'm doing everything here tonight. As now here's Zuccarello, a slap pass in front for Spurgeon down low, and that just missed to the glove side of Tolopilo. As now the Canucks here have iced the puck with 18:48 to go in the third period. And a faceoff coming back in to the offensive zone for the Minnesota Wild. And they're just 18:48 away from clinching a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. All they need is a standings point tonight. So this game could go to overtime and they would still clinch. But if they win in any kind, they definitely will be in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So face-off to the left of Tolopilo, going to be won by Elias Pettersson and the Canucks. Puck snapped up the far left wing, goes off the heel of the skate of Ohgren. Now in front of the Canuck bench, it's battled for and grabbed by Kaprizov, put in the middle, bounced off of Zuccarello's blade, got it back from Brodin. Zuccarello will ring it around the goal now to the far wall, met by Hartman. Hartman in the slot, Brodin off his blade, down low, Zuccarello, a shot and a right pad save by Tolopilo again, as that right pad's got to work out in this game tonight. So Elias Pettersson up the near wing, got it out to center. It'll roll into the Wild zone. Spurgeon will quickly toss it back out to neutral, though. Zuccarello's waiting for his team to change slightly, as now fresh on the ice is Yurov, but his pass intended for him at the Canuck blue line was cut off by P.O. Joseph, and on the right wing feeds Drew O'Connor. Over the Wild line, backhanded it down low, and behind the goal line, Yurov put it back up the boards. Zuccarello twisted it up but not out, and Elias Pettersson put it off the skates of Yurov, got it back, flung it behind the Wild net. And now Middleton from his own zone on the near side. Wet off a skate of Ohgren, but right back to him. As now he'll put it behind his net for Bogosian. Lost it. Now the Canucks back on it. Now 2 Canucks go down as both Rossi and O'Connor collided with each other beneath the goal line. But somehow Vancouver's still with possession. Pass across to the far wall. Pettersson up high. P.O. Joseph, his shot save made with the glove by Gustafsson, who saw it all the way. And he will hold with 17:25 to go here in the third period. If you're just coming from the Philadelphia-Detroit stream with Matthew Owens, welcome, as that game finished a 4-2 Red Wings victory, as they're now tied for the final wild card spot in the Eastern Conference with the Ottawa Senators, as they beat the Buffalo Sabres tonight 4-1. Both of those teams tied at 88 points. The Senators currently the team holding that final spot in the Eastern Conference. So face off to the right here of Gustafsson, as it's 3-2 Wild. If you're just joining the broadcast, again, Boldy with 2 goals, 39 and 40, and Kaprizov with his 40th. Tom Wallander and Jake DeBrusk with the Canucks goals. Canucks here in the O zone to our right, as Hronek from the right wing circle put one off a skate, bounced back to the near corner, pass in front, Ratu across DeBrusk, put it off the end of the boards, and now it came back in front for Gustafsson to cover. As with 17:02 to go in the third, he'll do just that. So faceoff will be coming back up to his right. So we just talked about the Red Wings and the Flyers, as we were going to have the Flyers and the Islanders on the airwaves for you tomorrow with Matthew Owens, but a last-minute change to the NHL Network makes it hard for Matt to be able to bring that game, as it's blacked out in most areas for people who don't have the NHL Network. So unfortunately, that one's going to be cut off. The next time we'll have hockey on this channel. It'll be Sunday featuring these Minnesota Wild. I'll be with you for that game in Detroit as they battle the Red Wings. Now they dig out a puck from behind the Canuck goal line, but Tarasenko's stuff attempt went through the blue paint and wide, and Bobby Brink now can't hold the puck in at the blue line, so the Wild have to reset at center. So back-to-back broadcasts here on the network between the Wild and the Red Wings. Not between the two, but the Red Wings and the Wild playing here tonight. The next time we go live, it'll be with those two teams. That'll be a day game, by the way, 1 Eastern, noon Central. So it'll be a hockey day matinee here for a watch-along on Easter Sunday. And you could go on afterwards after you're done hanging with me and go hang with your family. I'd much more appreciate if you spend your Easter with me. Who cares about, whatever else you got to do on that holiday? Just stick around here, spend lunchtime with me, and then go do what you got to do. Matolapilo here is going to gobble up a long shot from Faber that didn't have much of a shot at going in, as that was gobbled up easily for the whistle. Face-off coming up to his left. And last night, Kevin Lankinen getting the start in Colorado, getting the win in that 8-6 game. It's been rough for him. 9-26-5 for him this year. Think about this real quick. He has 9 wins on the whole season. Last year, he won his first 10 road games. So just in comparison, he won his first 10 road games last year, and now it's just a season later. Lankinen does not even have 10 wins this NHL season combined, home or away. It's crazy to think about is that the league's different from year to year. I got to stop doing predictions based off of what I saw last year, as the more people tell me that doesn't matter, it starts to become very much a true statement. The Canucks here try to twist back into wild ice. Ohgren with a pass across and a shot by DeBrusk going to be swallowed up easily by Gustafsson, as he'll hold that for a whistle. 15:32 remaining in this third period. Shots on goal 29-22 in favor of the Wild. They lead this game 3-2 and are trying to clinch a playoff spot with at least a point tonight. And with the upcoming schedules, be sure you're subscribed and have the bell notifications turned on, as you'll be able to be notified when Matthew and I go live, or Seth or JT, or even Matt White and the JB Motorsports guys when they cover NASCAR. So if you want to keep up with all our live streams, you could hit the like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell notification. So the Canucks win an ozone draw to the right of Gustafsson, but a shot whistled wide from the far wall. Behind the goal now to our right in the near corner, it pinballs to Hronek. He tried to backhand it towards the net, but it came in possession of Boldy, and he'll now give it to Middleton, banked out the center for Johansson. Back on the logo, Boldy straight in, left wing, past Eriksson Ek, in front for Boldy, but the pass was under his blade. Canucks try to clear, cannot. Johansson will keep it on the far wing and put it back down low. Buium will give it to Hronek, and the Canucks will backhand it out to center. Touch pass to the logo, trying to hit Besser. He's tied up with Boldy, and he got it at least to the near wing and didn't allow Boldy to take it away, and that allows the rest of his Canucks mates to change. So Besser did enough, but the Wild still end up with it. Up on the left wing, Boldy enters the Canuck zone. Got cut off there by Elias Pettersson, and now in front of the penalty boxes, Hughes will reset. Across to Faber, up the far right wing, Kaprizov tried to hit Hartman in stride on a breakaway, couldn't, but along the blue line, it rides to the left side for Hughes. Along the boards now, played it down low, getting cut off with Zuccarello. Hartman can't grab it either. Kaprizov will try and be the third man to grab it. He won't, but now on the far wing, it came to Faber. Shot it, getting toppled over was Tolopilo as he made the save. Zuccarello on the paint. Now in the slot, here's Faber with the loose puck. Backhanded it to the far corner, Hartman. Grabbing his goal stick out of the blue paint's Tolopilo. He set back up. Puck meanwhile straight ahead for Zuccarello. Down low left wing, it's Quinn Hughes pirouetting here. Played it back up top to Zuccarello. Long wrist shot. They score! Big Hartman got a piece on the way by on the Zuccarello shot. And the Wild are up 4-2. 6:03 into the third. So Ryan Hartman gets goal number 19 on the year, fighting for positioning on top of the blue paint with Tom Wallander, and he was able to knock that puck down right on top of the blue paint, and it bounced through the 5-hole of Tolopilo and into the back of the net for the 4-2 goal, and the Wild lead by 2. Off the ensuing face-off, the Canucks will snap it down to our right into the Wild zone, as Ryan Hartman, with 251 points now in 475 games as a member of the Wild, has him up 4-2, and now Minnesota's going to ice this puck. So now an ozone draw is going to come up down to our right for the Vancouver Canucks. So on that assist, Matt Zuccarello going to get his second apple of the game. He assisted on the Kaprizov go-ahead goal to make it 3-2. And he's been so good tonight, Matt Zuccarello. That guy's generated so many chances, and he's looked so quick and so snappy for a player that's been around for so long. As now the Canucks win an ozone draw, and a shot there towards the net, missed to the glove side of Gustafsson. And on the near corner, it'll bounce around and come up, and it'll be a 2-on-1 developing for the Wild. On the left wing, it's Zerov, has a man with him. Brink fed it across, and Brink couldn't stash it home as the pass was too hot and went past him. And now the Canucks on the counterattack through center. Drew O'Connor tried to stick handle himself through a phone booth at the blue line, but turned it over. Now Zerov again, far wing over the line, dropped it Brink in the slot. Here's Tarasenko, a backhander save to Olapilo, and that hits him right in the gut as he allows no second chance. And with 13:08 to go in the third period, we'll step aside as the Wild have made it 4-2 now in this third period, as Ryan Hartman's 19th of the year made it that just a moment ago. Back here in Minnesota, where it's now 4-2 Wild over the Canucks on the most recent goal by Hartman, assisted by Zuccarello and Quinn Hughes. As Quinn Hughes gets on the score sheet for the first time tonight and now has 50 points in 43 games with the Wild. Is that best the previous mark established by Brian Rolston, as he now has gotten to 50 career points with the Wild faster than any other defenseman in the organization before. So under 13 minutes to go here in the third period, Wild up a pair. Puck down to our left behind the Canuck goal. Stumbling and bumbling around, unable to grab it for the moment, was Elias Niels Pettersson. As behind the Canucks goal, it's going to be fought for by P.O. Joseph. Dangerous pass up on top of the paint, but he connects with Bluger on the far wing into the zone. Now come the Canucks. Sassone trying to drive behind the goal to the near circle with a shot. Went off of the leg in front of Foligno. Rebound to the far wall to Marcus Pettersson. He fanned on a shot. Trennan drove him into the boards, but he did enough to backhand it up to the point. Long shot deflected there to the near side off a leg. Came to McCarron in the near corner for the Wild down to our right. Played it behind his goal. Bogosian will grab it. Played it back through the trapezoid. Bluger lifted the stick of Middleton, but the puck came to McCarron, and he'll flip it out to center. In front of the penalty boxes, grabbed back by Carlson and the Canucks. Thrown across now, and on the far side, it's picked up by Mueller. Now Mueller gets run off there by Faber and loses possession. Quinn Hughes backhanded it up to Boldy. Bank pass up now to Johansson. On the near side, Faber with speed into the Canucks zone. Dropped it left wing circle for Quinn Hughes. Got poke checked, but stayed with it along the wall. On his backhand, sent it across to the far wall. It's played by Faber. Faber fanned on the pass, but it came to Johansson. Now up high for Quinn Hughes, but it went past him and out down into the Wild zone. And Faber gets back on it, squeezed off into the boards by Ratu. Kept with it though, and now got a return pass from Quinn Hughes at his skates. Now pressured against the boards again by Ratu. Poked away to the far corner and grabbed by Curtis Douglas. Camera flash in the crowd, love to see that. Reminds me of the 2000s. Don't ever think I've noticed that while watching a hockey game before, but someone benefiting with flash photography out there. Somebody should give a 5-second pose. Shout out Edge and Christian in their heyday here. Now, in the near left corner, it'll be the Canucks trying to battle for it in their D zone, but Hronik, awful turnover, but there to help him out was Buium, as almost a trigger pull was had by Eriksson, but the ex-Wild defenseman takes it up and up the near wing, and now over the Wild line it'll go, drop for Elias Pettersson in the slot, blocked by Spurgeon, came to Kaprizov to the far wall, he can't hold it, grabbed back by the Canucks, nudged by DeBrusk, got ran over by Eriksson, he's down there as well with Kaprizov, who got sandwiched in that, but the puck stays in the zone straight ahead. Marcus Pettersson to the near side, Wallander trying a shot from the corner, went off the skate of Middleton, now up ahead, here's Kaprizov with it, over the logo, trying to fight past Marcus Pettersson, stick checked him and got the puck down low, and a shot there towards Tolopilo off the stick of Hartman, almost found its way through, but the Canucks will get it and just send it down the ice. This will end up being an icing, and the whistle goes with 10:23 to go here in the third period. No ozone draw coming up here once again for the Minnesota Wild. Again, listener count keeps jumping back up. If you're new to the stream, make sure to hit the like button. Hit subscribe as well so you're able to comment for future streams. Don't know if that hour will come up in time here for the end of this one, but would love to talk with you guys throughout the broadcast and just kind of talk hockey in the chat. Sometimes I don't have to disappear for the whole intermission. Can hang here with you guys. Would always be fun. So just some food for thought here to make these streams a bit better. So face off here to the left of Tolopilo, but Kaprizov having an equipment malfunction. Looks like he needs not a new pair of gloves. It looks like he might have a nosebleed. So they're going to give him one of those plugs to put in his schnoz there, and he'll stay on the bench for this face-off as we got to continue play, as the Canucks win a D-zone draw to the left of Tolopilo and flick it out the center, but the Wild right back on it. Here's Hartman on the near left side with the most recent goal, played it up top to Bogosian, looking, shooting, save Tolopilo through traffic, and he'll hold with 10:09 remaining in the third. So Kaprizov still getting his nose tended to here on the bench, as we're getting a look at a replay here. And on the play where Eck drove into, that was Ohgren who took the hit. His elbow, Ogren's elbow, while falling backwards, hit Kaprizov in the nose. As I mentioned, he was kind of collateral damage there, and he ends up getting a bloody nose, and he's back on the ice after getting that handled. He set up for a face-off win by Hartman, but it doesn't end up coming to him, as on the near wing, the Canucks chip it past Middleton, but a stoppage for a hand pass, it looks like, with 10:04 to go in the third period, and we'll have another face-off upcoming here, this time in neutral ice. So Kaprizov with his 40th, Boldy with his 40th here tonight, and then Hartman with his 19th as well. Ends up getting the fourth goal of the game for the Wild, as Hartman now owns 8 points over his last 8 games, 4 goals and 4 assists. As off the draw here, he loses it to Rossi and the Canucks to the right of Tolopilo following that face-off, as it stayed in the defensive zone for Vancouver, up on the far wall. Now here's a long shot that came towards the Vancouver cage from Kaprizov. It's gloved by Tolopilo. And with 9:55 to go, that's going to send us to another break. Don't go anywhere. The home stretch of this one's coming up. Canucks and Wild right here on the Ultimate Sports Media Network. 9:55 remaining in this third period from Minnesota. Jaric Rubel with you on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. 4-2 Minnesota, as they're now under half a period remaining from punching their ticket to the 2026 Stanley Cup playoffs, likely to take on the Dallas Stars in round number 1. The Stars up right now on the Winnipeg Jets at the moment, so if both teams win, the differential in the standings will stay the same of 6 points, as the Wild might want to try and get home ice. Don't know how much they really care about it, but for a team that struggles to get out of the first round, it'd be nice to have. So you never know how this season rounds out, but 6 points is the difference between the Stars and the Wild for second and third in the Central at the moment. So the Canucks here trying to find a way back in this game. They once led it 2-1 on goals 40 seconds apart by Wallinder and Jake DeBrusk, but since then it's been all Wild. As since that first period when the Canucks had 14 shots, they've only had 8 since, and the Wild, who had 15 in that first period, have since put another 19 on that towards Tolopilo, as the shots are 34-22 Minnesota right now. As a stretch pass up for the Canucks, Drew O'Connor on the left wing kind of connects as he has to fight with Spurgeon into the corner. Gave Spurgeon an elbow. Don't know if the referee caught that. Doesn't look like a penalty's coming, but it was an elbow on O'Connor. Meanwhile, though, through center, here's Yuroff on the far wall. Fighting in on the far wing, takes it away by Zeev Buium, as now the University of Denver product got it up for Bluger. Tapped on the near side for Hronek, who wrists it on in. Around the Minnesota goal, it goes down to our right in the far corner. Turned over and a shot, missed the net off the stick of Bluger. A turnover right to him at the far circle, but couldn't hit the target. Canucks keep it in at the right side. Here's Buium. Played it ahead. Hronek one-timer. Goes over the crossbar, got the glass to the near corner down to our right. Bogosian bunted it ahead, turned it over, and a shot off the post. Rebound came to Gustafsson. What an interesting play. As Carlson shot it from the right circle, I believe it hit the far post and ricocheted back to Gustafsson. I want to see a replay because the physics on that don't seem to make sense as my brain's trying to repicture everything that just happened. All right, okay, here's a replay as we'll take a look here. Buium settled this puck down, and then the try from Hronek went over the net. That's not what I'm trying to see. Here's the shot by Carlson. He let it go, and I couldn't really tell from that angle, but I think I'd put more money on that it hit Jonas Brodin than the goalpost. So face off here to the left of Gustafsson, won by the Wild. Shot out of play, but it was deflected, says the official, so no penalty. With 8:08 remaining here in the third period. We saw just a game ago, or 2 games ago on Tuesday, as for the Philadelphia Flyers, Porter Martone made his NHL debut, and in his second ever shift, took the dreaded dog penalty, taking the puck right out of play from his own zone, but fortunately for him, did not end up in a power play goal for the Caps, though they did win that game. The Capitals did 6-4 in regulation, as the Flyers lose in regulation back-to-back games, dropping a big one to the Red Wings here tonight as well. And meanwhile, in this game in St. Paul, the Wild have just iced the puck, so a face-off here coming back in the Canucks O zone, with just about 8 minutes remaining here in regulation time. So the Canucks coming up empty-handed here since this first period. They had a lot of opportunities, like I said, 15 shots in the first period. The pace was really good between these two teams, and it seems like the Minnesota Wild just decided they didn't want to play this kind of funky business with the Canucks, so they locked it down, and the Canucks are having a hard time getting shots through sense. That one off a face-off win didn't make it to the net. Now trying to center it on top of the paint was Curtis Douglas, but it didn't make it to the stick of Ratu on top of the paint. And now it'll be cleared back out by Minnesota. Resetting are the Canucks in their own end between the benches. Mueller tried to play it ahead, got cut off though and played back at his own skates. Trennan, while falling, pool cued it on the far wing for Foligno. Got knocked off the puck, came to Hronek. Now ahead Mueller. Backhanded it on the far wall. DeBrusk trying to poke at it, or Buium, I should say. 24, not 74. Had to play it back at his own end. Hronek getting pressured here by Boldy. Almost lost it, but is able to keep with it, as now it's on the far wall for Elias Pettersson. Quiet night for Petey tonight. Pass intended for him on a rush up ahead. Couldn't connect, and now it got deflected out towards his direction in front of the penalty boxes, but the Wild end up poking it the other way. Eriksson at rink wide. Far wall. Boldy into the zone. A shot to save Tolopilo, who came out to challenge on top of the blue paint, and makes a nice butterfly save with 7:03 to go in this third period. So the Canucks, up next for them, they're going to take on the Utah Mammoth Saturday on home ice, as the Mammoth are jockeying for playoff position as well, as they're trying to hang on to that top wild card spot. They should hang on to that top wild card spot, and on a miraculous run to the conference finals, perhaps if they were to get there, they're going to try and get home ice over the 2 and 3 seeds from that Pacific Division, so those points do matter if you look down the road as well for Utah. Off a face-off win to the left of Tolopilo. The Wild will control thanks to Eriksson Ek. Behind the goal, Johansson played it to the left point for Quinn Hughes. Now on the near side, he gave it to Boldy, pirouetting. To the far wall, Hughes from the circle. Back to Boldy, had it blocked. Now a race ahead. Elias Pettersson wants a breakaway, but Boldy, a nice back check, will cut that off, as Pettersson just had to shoot it from the far circle. Didn't hit the target, just shot it out of play. And what seemed like an opportunity for the Canucks to get within one, it evaporated just like that. On the back check by Matt Boldy, who's had a great game here tonight. I mentioned Boldy got his 40th of the year. He's up to 78 points now on the season, which is a new career high for him. And for the season, ranks tied for second in the NHL with 4 shorthanded goals, and he's tied for 7th with 40 goals on the year. And now ranks second on the Wild with Kaprizov in goals and second on points as well. Been a tremendous fit here in Minnesota as he signed long-term, as well as Kaprizov, as now the Karillionaire. Kirill Kaprizov is also the highest paid player in the National Hockey League by AAV. So they win the D-zone draw. The Wild do. Yurov won that, and it's played up through center ice on the far wing. Here's Tarasenko. Pass got cut off, and now it's taken by Hronek in behind. Trying to get behind the Canuck net, but squeezed off by Bobby Brink as the puck came up the near side again for Yurov. Played it around the Canuck goal. Far wall, it's Rossi. Gave it to Hronek, as now it's played up the center for Besser. Besser, swipe pass on the far wall, onside Hronek to the right wing circle. Here's Besser, a shot through the paint. Couldn't connect with O'Connor. Came up the wall to the far point. Here's Hronek. Drop pass to Besser. Far wall. Back up top. Hronek. Looking. Shooting. Got a tip. Save left pad made by Gustafsson. In the slot. A turnaround try by Rossi. Deflected to the far wall. Here's Besser on it. The Minnesota native played it behind for Drew O'Connor. Without his goal sticks, Gustafsson right now. Hronek at the right point for Drew O'Connor. Played on the near side. Try to move it up. Zero off for the Wild. Got it to Brink. And now out comes Minnesota as Quinn Hughes twists on the logo. Left wing Tarasenko. Area play for Brink, goes to the far corner. Wrapped it around the Canuck goal. Up the wall it comes, and here's Tarasenko there waiting for it. From the left wing circle, his shot tipped by Brink. Got the glass, and it deflects out of play. With 5:20 to go here in the third period. When we come back, it is the final 5 of this hockey game. Maybe the Canucks force overtime, but the Wild have likely odds of wrapping this up in a regulation. Welcome back to Minnesota. Grand Casino Arena is the venue for tonight's game between the Wild and the Canucks. Jaric Rubel with you as the Wild are up 4-2. Here on home ice, they lose an O-zone draw, though, to the Canucks, who work it out through center with the line of Karlsson, Sassone, and Blueger. As from the far corner down to our right, here is Karlsson taking a puck away from Kaprizov nicely. Behind the goal, it's Blueger wrapping it around right point Wallander. Straight ahead, Blueger will put it right back behind the goal. Here behind the goal is Linus Karlsson. Poked off his blade, but came to the far wall for Marcus Pettersson. Chipped up high, Blueger. Played back behind the Minnesota goal. Around to the near side, it'll go for Hartman. Turned it over. Sassone dropping it at the right wing circle for Blueger. His shot missed to the blocker side of Gustafsson. Far wall, Marcus Pettersson. Played it to the back, but unable to keep it in as Blueger. As now Zuccarello on his tail. Had to give it to Wallander on the near side, who then dropped it back to Sassone over the line. Nope, they made a bad pass to Blueger, delayed offsides, as now Blueger will re-enter straight ahead, far circle with a shot. Save Gustafsson, rebound behind the goal, Bogosian. Left there for Yakov Trenin. Over 370 hits on the year for the big Russian. As on the near side here is Michael McCarron. Lost it. Hronek will take it back. Played it in front of the penalty boxes as Rossi goes across to Besser. Onside, left wing over the Wild line. Defending is Bogosian. Backhanded away from him. Besser put it to the near wall where Rossi put it up to Hronek. Hronek across to the far point. Here now is Niels Pettersson. The far wall, Besser. Left wing circle. Up top to Buium. Buium to Besser again. Far left wing. Looking for somewhere to go. Being watched by Foligno. Played it back to Buium at the left point. Empty net now for the Canucks as they're getting the extra attacker. At the right circle. Here's Elias Pettersson to Buium, far point. Besser left wing dot. Looking across to Pettersson. Off his stick blade. Now corrals it. Played it up high now to Hronek. Hronek across to Buium again. To the far wall, it's Besser. Besser looking. Has a man in the bumper. It's Rossi. Looking to get it to him. Waiting. Played it up high. Buium. One-timer and a save. Gustafsson through traffic. As now Middleton jabbing at O'Connor, and so did Bogosian. Two right hands to O'Connor. And we'll see if penalties are going to be issued out here to the Wild. Don't think that's going to happen. But two jabs thrown at Drew O'Connor by Marcus Foligno and Zach Bogosian. As now they're being escorted away here by the linesmen, not the referees. As now 3:27 remain here in regulation time. Following that save by Gustafsson a moment ago on Buium, as now with the empty net, the Canucks here will have 6-on-5 still. And this season at 6-on-5, they scored 7 times. They have given up 22 empty netters, though. The Wild have capitalized on 16 empty netters. They've given up 5 goals at 5-on-6 from their perspective. So still waiting to drop the puck here. The referees were really discussing things, and now it looks like a late line change is going to happen here by the Wild, as now it'll be the top line on the ice. Matthew Boldy on the ice, 1 goal shy of a hat trick, as he has goals 39 and 40 here tonight. As the face-off here down to our right into Gustafsson's right, it's won by Ratu and the Canucks. At the far wall, Buium. Along the wall, it's thrown towards Gustafsson. He'll snare it with the glove with ease, as that shot came his way from the left wing corner off the stick of Marco Rossi. As another face-off's coming up here now to Gustafsson's right, 3:21 remaining in this game. Again, thanks so much to the people who stuck around for both games tonight. The Flyers and the Red Wings with Matthew Owens kicked the night off. Now this nightcap here with me between the Canucks and the Wild in the final 3:21 here tonight. Wild have won 8 straight here in this building against the Canucks, trying to make it 9 and clinch a playoff spot. Face off to the right of Gustafsson, won again by the Canucks. To the back, Buium across Hronek, looking for a wrister, fanned on a pass now got it to the right wing circle as he'll collect and control. Played it up high at the right point, covering for him is Elias Pettersson. Right wing circle, Hronek. Up top, Pettersson again to the right wing dot, Hronek. His shot tipped on net. Ratu save Gustafsson. Another try, save Gustafsson as he'll cover it with 3:02 to go, holding that near post on the left side as he's able to hold that blue paint down, as Ratu there trying to jam at it fell over as he's down on his butt right now on top of the paint. As the Canucks here, they're pressing with this extra attacker. They honestly haven't let the Wild even sniff what could have been an empty net try in over a minute of extra attacker time. So props to Vancouver for that, as they're up to 30 shots now On that, the Wild with 36, and Pettersson wins a draw to Gustafsson's left. The Canucks will control again. Straight away, here's Hronek, right wing circle. Pettersson up top, Hronek's one-timer, missed to the glove side, rebound to DeBrusk off the end boards. Near wing, Pettersson got hit, Kaprizov takes it, can't clear, Hronek will keep it. Hronek played it back in the gut of Kaprizov, he can't get it out. Boldy now with it on his backhand, sent it down, and now it'll be picked up by the Canucks again, and a whistle for... I actually don't know what it could have been because Boldy was the last to touch that puck, and it looked like they were going to say it was played with a high stick, but don't know if that was the right call or not, but it'll bring Tolopilo back on the ice now for the Canucks as he'll creep back in to the halfway point between the blue line and the blue paint. So now that offensive group for Minnesota will head off the ice, Boldy and Kaprizov. So now the Canucks win the neutral zone draw, 2:35 to go in a regulation time. Hronek the drop pass. It'll be collected now by Buium. He'll turn back as he doesn't see a clean entry into the Wild zone. Trying to creep out is Tolopilo for the extra attacker. Hronek right side, played it across. Pettersson shoots it in. To the bench goes Tolopilo again. Behind the goal to our right, Hartman shot a puck all the way down the ice. This has eyes. It won't hit the net though, as it'll go for an icing with 2:10 remaining here in period number 3. So face-off again, coming back into the offensive zone for the Canucks, as we've seen crazy things happen in this league before, especially this time of year. I believe the Dallas Stars led Vancouver 5-1 at this time last year in the third period. It was like the final 3 minutes of the game, and Vancouver scored 5 goals to win in regulation, or they tied it and won in overtime. I don't remember the exact results, but this Vancouver team late in the year when they've out of it done some crazy stuff before. We'll see what happens here as they win the draw with the extra attacker again. They're 5-0 with the extra attacker on faceoffs. Rossi from the far wall up top to Buium. Now here's Hronek to the right wing circle. Besser played it off the boards. Bad pass to Pettersson as he's now tied up with Spurgeon on the near right side. Hartman played it across, but right to Rossi. Wrong teammate as that guy now plays for Vancouver, not the Wild. Rossi from the far wall up top Hronek. Near right wing circle Pettersson. Elias Pettersson to Hronek. One-timer off the end boards. Came back to the far circle to Brusque. Now here's Hronek. Right wing. One-timer. Pettersson blocked by Hartman. That stung him in the left knee. Back to Pettersson and he has the puck. Pettersson across. Buium, left wing circle. Shot to the net. Deflected save made by Gustafsson. And he's going to end up covering on that rebound as it came back to him on his right-hand side. And with 1:28 to go, he will hold for a whistle. See if a timeout gets used here by Vancouver, if they're going to keep that in their back pocket here. And just see what they could accomplish here already, playing good hockey with the extra attacker. Just good job by the Wild to box him out. And then the shots that have come towards Gustafsson, he stopped. And for the most part, a lot of the shots have come from right on top of the blue paint. And it looks like a timeout now is going to be taken by the Vancouver Canucks. So to the benches, both teams go here with 1:28 left in regulation time. Again, thanks so much, everybody, for hanging out with me on the broadcast tonight. My name's Jaric Rubel. If you guys haven't learned that already, it only says it at the very top of the screen, right above that Minnesota Wild score bug right there. But I'll be back with you again for the Wild. It'll be Sunday as they head to Detroit and take on the Red Wings. Again, that is an early game as it'll get underway at 1 Eastern, noon Central Time on Easter Sunday. So both these teams make their way back from the bench. Colin said, thanks for the reminder. Yeah, you betcha, buddy. I know you're talking about the Stars and Wild in the standings race, as the Stars could potentially lose home ice. I don't think they will, but obviously the possibility still exists. But now we're back underway as the Canucks with the extra attacker win the draw to the right of Gustafsson. Up top straightaway, Hronek. Left wing circle, a shot by Rossi. Blocked in the slot, came down to Boldy. Now Kaprizov locating to the far side, Hartman. Hartman will shoot it down. It'll go rolling towards the goal line, and it bounces in! That puck was rolling on edge, and it took a diagonal turn right from the line into the empty net. And the Wild seal this one 5-2 and are 1:08 away from officially punching their ticket to the Stanley Cup playoffs. So Ryan Hartman's 20th goal of the season, 9th point in his last 8 games, as the Wild are up 5-2 with 68 seconds to go on Hartman's second of the night. So the fans here in Grand Casino Arena are loving it as their Minnesota Wild are back in the playoffs again, as they're going to try to get to the second round for just the second time in the last 13 seasons. As now off a Canuck face-off win, they turned it right over to the Wild fourth line, and Trennan took Elias Niels Pettersson into the boards as we're now in the final minute here tonight. So the Wild want to score a touchdown as they want to get a skull chant going and honor the Vikings, even in this final minute. Behind the Canuck goal, here is McCarron. Played it on the far wing. It'll be punted back to the point by Bogosian. Foligno with it. Long wrister to the net. Ended up behind. Now wrapped in front. Poked on net. Save Tolopilo. Rebound to the near corner. Final half minute. Played up the wall. Not out. Kept by the Wild's McCarron. Now behind the goal, Wallander will pitchfork it up but not out for the Canucks. Bogosian put it back down low. McCarron with it. Wraparound try off the side of the net. Back behind to the far corner, Trennan. Final 14 of the game. To the near side, it's Middleton. Wild still shooting and passing it around like they're trying to get the sixth, as this game's not over to them. As McCarron will play it to the far point, Bogosian cycles to Middleton. He'll let it go away. The clock strikes 0 and the Minnesota Wild have punched their ticket to the Stanley Cup playoffs. So it's the 5th playoff appearance in the last 6 seasons for them. They've only missed once since 2013, and they'll have a date likely with Dallas just 16 days from now. So a 5-2 win here on home ice for the Wild. Goals by Matthew Boldy, not once but twice, as he got goals 39 and 40 on the season. Kirill Kaprizov then joined him in the 40-goal club as he got his 40th of the year, and that made it 3-2 Minnesota. That goal will stand as the game winner. And Ryan Hartman on a tip-off a Zuccarello shot made it 4-2. Then on an empty netter made it 5-2 as he gets goals 19 and 20 on the year himself. The Canucks goals, Tom Wallander, 5th of the year from Bluger and Sassoon off a weird bounce off the end boards. Then Jake DeBrusk, 15th power play goal, 18th on the season from Hronek and Elias Pettersson. So 5-2 the final. Again here from Grand Casino Arena in St. Paul. The Wild are back in the playoffs for the 5th time in the last 6 seasons, as they likely have the date booked with the Dallas Stars. Next time you'll hear from me, it'll be with these Minnesota Wild. It'll be on Sunday in Detroit against the Red Wings. That game's 1 Eastern, noon Central Time, a Hockey Day Easter game right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel. Again, a big thank you to everybody who watched both games of this doubleheader. Matthew Owens bringing the Red Wings, beating the Flyers 4-2, and tying the Senators for the final wild card spot in the Eastern Conference at 88 points apiece. And then thank you all for joining me here for this game between the Canucks and the Wild. It wasn't a sexy game to choose, obviously, as the Canucks are dead last in the NHL, but I'm committed to bringing all 32 games in a season to you guys, and off we go, as we only have 2 more left, as might only be 1 more left, actually. I think it might just be Vegas after this game here tonight, and that is going to be it, 'cause the Kings were Team 30 yesterday. Tonight, the Canucks are 31, and on next Saturday, April the 11th, the Golden Knights will make Team 32. So again, thanks so much for joining me here tonight on this Thursday. The Power survived, the storms are through, another wave is coming soon. But again, will talk to you all on Sunday on Easter for the Wild and the Red Wings. From St. Paul, one last time, my name's Jaric Rubel, and this has been a Wild victory, 5-2 over the Canucks, as they punch their ticket to the Stanley Cup playoffs. So long, and good night, everybody. I'll talk to you all Sunday at 1 Eastern, noon Central, right here on the Ultimate Sports Media YouTube channel.